Hello, I'm ABX Toycat, and welcome back to a live stream on the internet. Today, I'm going to be placing ice on the ceiling of my Nether while talking about whatever. But before we can do that, I want to practice what I preach and talk about one of the most important things you can do in Minecraft, because when you get above level 30, right now we're at level 32, anytime you get anywhere above level 30, especially this high, you shouldn't continue to accrue experience thinking like, I'll just deal with enchantments later. Always deal with this as soon as you can. It's the most efficient way. So we're going to craft a pickaxe, we're going to go ahead, we're going to enchant it, and we're going to pray we get silk touch like we would be doing if we waited a little longer. The reason we're doing this, in case you're curious, is because levels get more and more inefficient the further past level 30 you go, and if you want to get the maximum from it, you just got to do this and hope for the best. Did we just get unbreaking and fortune? Yes. Is this a bad pickaxe? I would say so, honestly. But yeah, you win some, you lose some. That is the fun game of enchanting. Although actually, I think combine it with this one would make for a really nice pickaxe. Fortune free, mending, and unbreaking. So we've got something from this, if nothing else. But you know what else we have, if nothing else? We have an episode of the livestream adventures let's play. It's just, and honestly, like, it's weird because the live streams are kind of like a series that take place in the Let's Play world, right? But they're very much not Let's Play episodes. I struggle with it sometimes as to like, so what is the difference some weeks? And the answer with weeks like this one, where I just chop down wood for 59 minutes, is there isn't much. But I try to make sure there's some most of the time. And yeah, we're going to be explaining that a little bit today, as well as a fun little game that I came up with like 3 minutes before the stream went live. I found a really dumb website. It's called conversationstarters.com. And the if you start conversations this way, I'm concerned for you as a person. But two, it's interesting because it matches like sometimes like people on the internet, like they sound like bots because they're so like uninteresting. No offense, friends. Took access. Yes, thank you very much. I read your message even when there was a creeper nearby that could have blown something up. That's how much I care about responding to you. But it sounds like weird chat questions. So in this stream, I'm going to throw a few ones in there. If you spot that it's a conversationstarter.com random question as opposed to a chat question, let me know, internet. Honestly, it's a fun little game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to today. Hopefully all of you are as well. And if you're not, then you're doing it all wrong. So yeah, let's go to the Nether. Let's do this. I've brought myself a lot of scaffolding because we're probably going to need more than this, actually. We might have underdone the scaffolding, which sounds hard to believe until you see what we're doing. Also, actually, you know what? I've got some eggs on me. Why don't we go ahead and just, like, spawn some chickens here? Or at least try to, just to get rid of the eggs. And there we go. No eggs, no chickens. 2 problems solved. I tried to catch some fog, but I missed. Aha. Also, lost my iTunes gift card. Spent it all on you. Thank you so much, Raimo, for spending the last of an iTunes gift card. I've often thought to myself, like, man, one day I aspire to be worth someone's iTunes gift card. And the fact that I've made it there now, I mean, it's a pretty cool moment for me. It's a pretty cool moment. Also, the title rhymes. I love the rhyme. I went for I did notice, like, the thumbnail came from Alcazar. I was just like, last minute, realized it fit the stream, and I was like, that's a cool coincidence. And I was like, wait, it rhymes. And then I figured, like, I'll make the title rhyme too. Also, I'm a bad pickaxe too, says Melanie McLean. I mean, if you think about it, we're all bad pickaxes in the sense that none of us are doing a very good job at being a pickaxe. Like, when was the last time you mined iron ore?
I thought the thumbnail said whether I was a little excited. Also, it's nice to catch a stream again. How are you doing, Toy Cat? How's the weather, by the way?
I love discussions about the weather. I live for them. Also, thank you, Mad Planet Guy. Good to see you, Shark Boy. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? So, let me explain what today's live stream is going to be about. Because here's the deal, right? I need to place ice on the ceiling of my Nether. I've kind of just accepted the fact now that, like, yep, I need to, you know, like, right now we have, like, a ceiling in the Nether which looks like this. And I want to just be like, oh, yeah, we don't need ice on that ceiling. It's fine. But the more oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Literal mechanics are weird. It does rhyme. I agree. It does rhyme. But, yeah, I've come more and more to the realization, like, okay, I think I'm going to need to, like, go ahead and cover that ceiling because it looks nice and wonderful right now. But without that last bit, it's not going to be great. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start covering the ceiling with ice. It's going to suck. It's going to be a long sub. Honestly, I might even get bored halfway through and decide, actually, I didn't mean all of the ceiling, I meant a bit. But it's something I figure I should at least try. And that's what we're doing in today's video. Also, just as a little interesting side note, I decided this, like, yesterday night. Let me know what your thoughts are, because I saw the most amazing Blackstone Nether build, and I was like, I need to build a Blackstone in the Nether. Where should I do it? Why not do it next to my ice stuff? So just if you want to insight into the future of Toy Cat, what I'm going to be doing is over there. In fact, you can't even see it because Nether rend distance is that bad. But over there, I'm actually not just. We'll fly over to it. We've got enough fireworks. Over here, I'm considering having like a big blackstone cast or something that's like opposite this. It should look pretty cool. That's my plan. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, hello everyone. Enjoy the live stream where we place a lot of ice on the ceiling of the Nether. I'm gonna enjoy it a lot, and hopefully you do too. So yeah, it's gonna involve a lot of. Oh, we need to go grab the ice. That's an embarrassing first step to miss. But yeah, so also, can you make a sign in the Nether representing your name? GG. Thank you, Travis Silver, for the. Oh wait, no, fold up. Damn it, I get them all always in the wrong order. Thank you, Januris, who do be vibing. Grisavi, I'm hoping to get like one existential crisis during the stream. Don't fail me. Honestly, to me, I think we reached our peak when we realized that you can never have a live conversation with anyone. That you're always gonna have some delay. And then someone said, "Oh yeah, but that means you can never have live thoughts because the time between you thinking a thought and you realizing you thought that thought is non-zero. You never hear your thoughts in real time. You always hear them delay."
Your name? GG.
Thank you, Travis Silver, for the idea. I don't know how or where specifically we'll do it, but I do like the idea. I feel like that sign belongs to the polar bears, though. Personally, that's my personal opinion. That stream ruined me, says Alcazar. Yeah, like I can't feel without like being like, oh yeah. No, I don't really have like a family that I'm like hugely into. Don't worry about that. I guess that sounds like super like harsh and mean. What I mean to say is that you know, no, I'm like some people are really big on family, and I think like how big you are on family depends on like how good your family have been to you in your life, right? Like judge people by their actions, not by random other criteria. But yeah, no, I don't have like the best family in my life. I don't have a bad. I wouldn't say like it's bad or good. Like it's a little mix of both, depending on the situation. But yeah, my internet cries. Oh, we had a little bit of a lag blur right there. Reloaded. So yeah, I don't know where that came from. Apparently it's from it's on the YouTube's end. Interesting. So sorry, friendos. We should be good now though. Hello, I'm IBX Toy Cat. I said I'd be placing ice in the Nether, but we're like 10 minutes in, and this is my first ice block placement. Okay, I don't think we are live. Chat, if you're here, say wait. If you're here, chat, say what quality about yourself do you value most? Thank you. Oh, Jesus, I do not like that. Yeah, that's how you can prove you're real, internet. If you say what quality about yourself do you value most, then I'll know that you're here. YouTube can't handle such good content. Oh, I didn't mean. By the way, just to clarify, internet, I don't care about your qualities about yourself. I meant to say the words I said myself. Wow, I am horrified by all of these. You know, I didn't ask to hear details about you, but thank you for sharing them anyway. What qualities about yourself do you value most? There we go. One person got it. One person. You know, I realize now, like when you say someone to say a question, you actually mean they should say the answer. It's interesting because like I've been watching your videos since 2015. Says Logan Gurney. Thank you so much, Logan Gurney, for watching the videos for since all that be like the near the end of the console edition days. Not even near the end, like in the middle of the console edition days, when things are like just amping up to their max. It's been a wild ride. Like, honestly, the fact that like now I've been making Minecraft YouTube videos for like 8 years, but it switched versions twice. That reminds me of like how lucky I am that like most YouTubers don't survive the game that they're playing, vanishing into thin air. But I'm grateful that somehow I did. What quality about yourself do you value most? Says Amanda Ree. There we go. That's what we're talking about. So actually, you know what? Should we answer it anyway? Let's pretend it was a chat question and it wasn't from this awful conversation starting website. Which, side note, I've always thought the idea of a conversation starter is such like a goer, right? Like conversations, like I know some people can't do this, but the trick is if you're bad at conversation starters, just stare blankly at each other for a while until something comes up, and then use that, you know. Like I know everyone wants to seem like they're so good at conversation, and like it's me too. I totally am the same. Like, yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so good at talking. And like, in real life, a lot of people think that like, oh yeah, you just talk all the time because you want to fill space for ad revenue. Now, this is how I talk in real life too. Like, if you give me 5 seconds of space, I'll tell you about my dead cat, damn it. Was that an icebreaker line? It's funny because I, you know, wait. How big is a polar bear? Big enough to break the ice. Ha ha ha. You know, again, like, ice breaking is another thing where, like, we all have these barriers up. The simplest solution is, one, not to have barriers. But if you insist on having barriers, just, like, you know, let them be broken at anything. Just realize that you can actually get along with more people than you think you can. And then everything gets a lot easier. I'm grateful you never stopped because I found your channel during the spike Minecraft had last year. Never had so much fun watching live streams or videos in general. Thank you, Grisavi. That means a lot. See, that's a nice, wholesome message right there. Yeah, no, a lot of people... Most channels have a career... In fact, most entertainment has a career that looks like this. You grow and... Well, actually, a lot of channels go like that. If you're lucky, your channel goes like this. And somehow I've been lucky enough that my channel's come through, like, the double bell effect, where, like, oh yeah, we had our biggest year in, like, 2017 or 2016, I think it would have been. And then, like, we were going down from there. And then 2019 was a huge year for Minecraft, obviously. And then, you know, we've kind of been going since then. Also, let's go ahead and let's just break these blocks. Like, this is not built for purpose anymore. Pro tip, if you ever want to use a lot of scaffolding, this precise technique, very easy way to do so. If you want to save yourself a lot of pain and effort. And we'll just break it from here. Pick up all the blocks that have gone to the ground, because we have to do it sooner rather than later, I guess. And let's do this. But yeah, like, the concept of ice breaking, like, I get that it's a whole thing, but the more you think about, like, most social things, the more you think about them, the worse they get. In reality, this project would probably warm up the Nether once the ice evaporates. It's like, wait. In reality, this project would warm up the Nether even more once the ice evaporates. Is that true? Like, why would water warm up the Nether? I think it would cool it down very, very slightly, right? I'm not, to be fair, I'm not a scientist. I'm just saying words. Which, I mean, like, if you think about it, that's what most scientists do too. So actually, I basically am a scientist. I do, like, half of their job. Just not the important half. What's your favorite meme and what's your favorite version of Minecraft to play? The favorite meme question is my least favorite one in the world. So, I'll just go, my favorite meme is money printer, go brrr. Because, like, it's topical right now. Because, you know, like, memes are topical. It's funny, very few memes. You know, I was just saying how, like, oh yeah, you think I'm joking, you think I'm just, like... Because it's easy to see if you're not big on the YouTube thing, like, oh yeah, you just say that. Like, you know, actually most channels last a long time. You think about the examples that do last for a while, most pieces of entertainment have, like, one shot, and that's it, you know? Because, you know, entertainment is something you don't consume regularly.
You're doing the opposite of ice breaking while talking about ice breaking. Very meta. I enjoy.
Thank you, Pookiams. I try my very best. I had some good news today. You know, let's talk about good... You know, I feel like, you know, there's always a lot of negative news out there. But let's talk about some good stuff. I finally got a refund from an American airline today. It's actually interesting. Like, I want to talk about it a little bit because, like... the broad implications to me are interesting because, like, effectively, the American taxpayers just bailed out American Airlines. You know, all of them, not the company, but the ones in America. And therefore, those bailouts effectively paid for me to get a refund. Also, taxation is theft, but I'm a criminal, so it's fine, says John London. Also, it's Toycat Tax o'clock, says LF Spino. Thank you for the Toycat Tax. But yeah, I finally got some money back, which is like... It's always a small win, right? Like, when you like, write something off as like, oh yeah, not gonna happen. It's easy to be stuck in that train of thought, and a lot of the time you're right, and... You know, it's kind of like, have you ever heard the phrase? Actually, this relates to my family issue problem. But there's this thing with, like, if you lend money to family or friends, you have to just write the money off, and then if they pay you back, it's a bonus. Because, you know, people do not treat money, you know, like, if you respect money enough to have enough of it to be able to lend to someone, you probably respect money more than the person you're lending it to does, and they're not going to see why it's a big deal that they can't just pay you back when they want to. Etc. Etc. You know, it's a whole, like, little thing. But the same line of logic is true for, I guess, many things. Also, do you have a drink in a fishbowl today? Says the Dark Knight. I just have some grape juice. I was gonna drink the grape juice out of a fishbowl, but because I make so many jokes about like potato juice and melon juice, I knew so many people would see it as like, oh, so Toy Cat is drinking wine. I see he's gone full out. Oh no, what am I doing? I can pick them up later. Yeah, they landed there. It's fine. I'm gonna be very confused when I find those later. I'm not gonna have a clue as to what they're doing there. But that's later me's problem. But yeah, Toy Cat, if you had $100, what would you buy? Actually, not. Okay, wait. I like this question. So, did I read it from a chat person, or did I find it from conversationstarters.com? Think about that one, friends. I really like this one because it proves the value of a certain amount of money changes depending on who you are. One of the things that I'm like the biggest proponent for is like, give people money. You know? Not like you personally go give some people some money, although you should. That's neat. Like one of the easiest ways to like give back to anyone. Like a Christmas present for someone you don't know, assuming they don't have a lot of money, is money, you know? And most people don't have too much money. So like, yeah, $100 is really cool because like, depending on what $100 buys you, it's like it's actually, to me, it's like a sign of growing up. Like, in the UK, when I was younger, I thought a pound was everything. If you had a pound, you had it all. And then when I was like when I was a teenager, I was like, oh yeah, but like, 20 pounds? That's like forever money. And now like, you know, if you give me, you know, like $10, $20, this, you know, does actually happen in these streams. It's like, that's really cool. That's helpful. But it's not like life-changing, you know? It's like, that will pay for, you know, me to buy a pepper grinder with a flashlight on it or whatever else. I didn't realize grape juice was an actual thing, says Silica. Oh yeah, grape juice is delicious. Grape juice, I only found out about it when I was like 20. And I was like, oh. I love grapes. Because like previously I had to buy like alcohol-free wine to, like, I like alcohol-free wine, by the way. So good. It's all of the, it actually tastes like grape juice. Because like people who like wine, they actually like some weird matured vinegar garbage taste. Like, I'm not a wine person, don't know if you can tell. Even though we had that whole story involving wine. And yeah, basically, oh god, this is so torturous. This is why I didn't want to do this, by the way. Like, the amount of pain we are going through to get this done. But it is an amount of pain I shall have to endure. Sit clearly. But like, yeah, as you grow older, like, and hopefully more financially solvent, the amount of money that will change your life is different. Even, okay, wait, here's the most douchey thought, but it's like kind of real, right? $1 million, if you, even like a lot of adults think, $1 million, you're good. Millionaire is a rich person, right? But one single million isn't actually like financially set for life kind of money. It is like financially comfortable for life, but it's still like you should still work a job if you can, sort of money, you know? I think the average person to retire at their current salary has to have like a pension of like 2.5 million, and that's a pension. That's excluding the time that you're alive. Like I think it might be like 1.6, maybe not 2.5. It was a number, okay. Also, I think H2I is a huge greenhouse gas, not a big deal normally, but with other greenhouse gases trapped in the atmosphere, it doesn't come down as rain. Also, Robin Hood code again. I want that to work now because you're so dedicated to it. Like, I thought it was like a guy just being like, aha, I found my secret ploy to advertise Robin Hood. But now he's just like, you know what? I want a super chat, and let's see if we get something back eventually. Maybe not a smart investment, but at least one that I can get down with. A mil is just enough to set yourself up financially to make money, says Lisa H. Exactly, right? Like, $1 million's like a really cool start. Like, you would still prefer $1 million to not having $1 million. Let me clarify right now. I don't have $1 million in assets. If you combine everything I'm worth together, you're still not even halfway to $1 million. Like, you have to take my house to even get to, like, a quarter way to $1 million, which I don't fully own, so it's an unfair proposition. But, like, I'm not worth $1 million. I want to clarify that right now. But, like, $1 million seems like so much before you have all of the, like, expenses on your own head. Because, actually, this is something interesting. Like, being alive costs money. It's one of the most depressing things to realize. I hear some noises outside. I'm concerned. One sec. I'll go check on what that is. I've got a real serious issue. Jesus,
Grape
one
juice,
sec.
apple juice, orange juice, cranberry juice, tomato juice, carrot juice. Which one is superior?
Okay, I'm back. Hello, everyone. Something bad is happening right now. I don't know how bad it is. It might be, like, slightly bad. It might be very seriously bad. Twingat's getting robbed. Also, Twingat, you okay? Is the thing outside okay? Just tip for your great work. Thank you, friends. No, the actual, if you're actually curious, friends. It's, I heard a very loud noise I had to go deal with. And so, okay, wait, this is actually, it's kind of topical. We're going to tie it into what we're talking about. So while I was just doing my business, we heard a ghast. Did you really? But like, I'm like a little stressed about it. Sorry, give me a second, chat. Just give me a second. So my boiler is having like serious issues. It just leaked out all of the water that was inside of it. And boilers are like serious business. If you don't know, you literally cannot work on a boiler without certification. Because like if you mess it up, people die. And in my case, the people that die is myself. And yeah, it's like made some horrific noises. It leaked out. There's no like, it's got like a lot of concerning signs. And I would go deal with it more, but like, if there's no more water in there to have problems with, one would assume. So yeah, I'll work that one out. Why is there so much ice? Says Yeet Man. It's just what we're doing here, friend, Mr. Yeet Man. Ooh, carbon monoxide. Yeah, carbon monoxide poisoning is one of my biggest fears. Because you don't know that you're running out of brain oxygen. You just get stupider and stupider till you pass out. Like I've seen people try to do like puzzles and stuff while under the influence of carbon monoxide. And they're just like super stupid human beings. I mean, super stupid human beings. Kind of an oxymoron, am I right? But yeah, they're like, you turn very stupid under carbon monoxide. There was gas noises. Oh, you could hear it too? Unless you mean gas noises. Unless you literally mean gas noises. Open some windows. Oh, right, because a gas leak. Right. That's smart. Oh, I recently took down my carbon monoxide alarm. So, you know what? Just in case. One sec. I'm gonna... You know, that actually makes a lot of sense that you should check that. That is a very important thing to do. Also, let's not light any fires, huh? Let's not light any fires. I'm so lucky. One of the things that terrifies me is having one of those, like, gas fires in my house. You know how, like, some people cook with, like, a fire that is literally just flame? So sorry I can't respond to your super chats right now, but my house is potentially having an issue. Can you realize if you're getting stupider? I don't know if you can. One sec. Be right back. Thank you. Love you too. Okay, it's good. That was thank you, chat. That's a good piece of advice right there. When you're dealing with gas, pro tip: make sure gas cannot kill you. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, the thing is, like a modern situation. Like, think about what is that white? Oh, it's snow. Fix your body with this, mate. Says Hugh G, and then Thank you, Mr. Hugh G. Last name unknown. To say love you to someone. I was actually like, I was speaking to my carbon monoxide alarm. I was like, man, I sure do love you. Glad you exist in the world. You never think that sometimes? Like, imagine life without fire alarms. Also, I love you too, says Kingston. Is he getting dumber? I feel like I am sometimes.
Shark Boy asked the following right as you left the first time. Grape juice, apple juice, orange juice, cranberry juice, tomato juice, and carrot juice. Which is superior?
Okay, so out of those ones, out of the choices given there, friendo, Innocent Cat dies of carbon monoxide while on look at his watch. Everyone's saying like, okay, chat. Okay, I know that like some of you are being like quite probably caring, but like I want to clarify, it's okay. The thing that freaks me out is like when everyone's like, when everyone's like, there's a lot of input right here, and when people are actually like being genuinely concerned, it's like, oh, let's deal with their concerns. You know, that's like my human instinct there. And in this case, it's like I should not be. Those human concerns should not be my current concerns, but yet they are. Anyway, fun fact: most candy that is blackcurrant flavor in the UK is grape flavor in the USA because the USA was worried about blackcurrant plants that spread disease to other plants. Says Jericho. Yeah, I learned about that one recently too. Like I always thought that it was be the other way around. Like maybe like things that were grape flavored in the US are flavored blackcurrant because we had a surplus of blackcurrants. But America was worried about blackcurrants, so blackcurrant became like a British thing, which is kind of weird in my opinion. Sorry, Cat, the government was merciless as Star Wings too. Very, very tragic. Okay, so juices. I'm sorry, when I'm like, when I'm like under stress, I can't even like properly come up with words and stuff. But so as far as the juices go, my favorite juice by far, like this is like the whole like when you're giving a speech and you've messed it up and you know that you can't really recover from it and you're like, okay,
do they not add odorant to natural gas in England? In the US they add an odorant that smells like sulfur or rotten eggs. Also, if we tell you you're sounding stupid, will you evacuate?
I think honestly, there's a certain number of people in the stream that are like, hey, you're getting really, really stupid, please get out there. I would probably take their advice. Yes. Also, do they not add a natural odorant to the gas? As best I know, they don't, right? Oh, they actually can smell gas. Maybe they do actually. I've never smelt gas, like, from a leak or anything like that. I did have one of those burners that did, like, throw out gas. Actually, like, Bunsen burners in school, too. But, to the best of my knowledge, there is no odor to it. But I could be horrifically wrong, because who knows anything anymore. Thank you, Salty Bonsai, for becoming a channel member. So take a second, collect your thoughts. Could you leave room for a second? I have to have a private conversation with chat, says Alina Khan. I don't know what the private conversation is now. But yeah, here's the worst thing, like, because everyone's saying, like, you're getting stupid. I wish I hadn't mentioned that, like, did you know carbon monoxide makes you stupid? Because it does. That's what it literally does. You lose the ability to think. Oh, one of my favorite stories of all time is, there was this big crash. By the way, thank you, Chains9. Love the chill chat. Cheers. Thank you, Chains. Oh, and no, Juice. We cannot tell the story before Juice. Of all the juices listed by Shark Boy and now Rage Mage, grape, apple, orange, cranberry, tomato, carrot juice. Carrot juice and tomato juice, get out of there. Tomato juice is kind of tasty as like a cocktail mix thing that people do because they're freaky human beings. It tastes kind of like tomato soup, but like in a bottle. That's how I drink it at least, because I can get some tomato. Don't ask why I have tomato juice for free sometimes, but there's a long story that involves. I sometimes do drink tomato juice. Not because I like it, but because it's there. And so therefore, like, out of the remaining ones, apple, orange, cranberry, grape, I feel like orange is just such a classic. But if orange wasn't a classic, I think cranberry There's like a specialness to cranberry. Cranberry and like cranberry and orange mixed together is so great. So is grape juice only a thing in the US? Grape juice is probably much bigger of a thing in America. Again, a lot of British people in chat seem confused by it. Indeed, I was when I first saw it. But Kaylee Waters, thank you very much. Oh, I was worried that was a messed up name. It's not. Remember going off topic 30 times is just classic non-gassed up toy cat. You know that I'm not. You know that I've got carbon monoxide poisoning when I don't go off topic. That's when you should be really concerned. In Europe, we call grape juice wine. We're sophisticated like that, says PN. That's how that one is. If the gas leaks through the internet and we die, says bruh. You know what? That's the risk you have to take watching a Toy Cat live stream. I'm sorry for putting all your lives on the line here, but I'm selfish like this. I do it, and I do it for me. So, yeah, I feel like we're making pretty good progress all of a sudden. It's really slow, painful progress I can't keep up for a while, but I'm gonna do it my best. So, yeah, to go back to juices, cranberry juice is good. Grape juice, slightly better. Orange is a classic, but if it wasn't a classic, I think grape would beat it out. But because it's got that, like, icon status, might have to give the point to orange on this one. It's like, you look tired and miserable, says Ryan Habibi. Ah, that's a good sign. No, I had, like, a really bad... I don't know, like, sometimes I just, like... I finish recording a video and I'm like, that took 2 hours, and I don't know if it's going to be good until I get it back from the editor in as many days as it takes. And I can't bring myself to look at it right now in its unedited form because I hate what I've just done. It's a weird thing. Apparently it's common with people who produce like all sorts of art, air quotes. But it doesn't mean it's any better. I know it's interesting. It's interesting. So, okay, let's talk about CO2, right? Because one of my favorite stories around CO2 leaks. There was a plane, I think it was a Cyprus Airways flight. It might have been Aegean Airline. Basically, it was a plane going between Cyprus and Greece, two countries that are pretty near each other. It was a really classic, simple, standard flight. But before it took off, one of the pilots forgot to pressurize the plane. So basically, it meant that everyone, like they forgot to pressurize the plane. So there was the gases people were breathing was the oxygen, but like the oxygen at 30,000 feet, and you can't actually breathe at 30,000 feet. The plane has to give you real oxygen, kind of like you can't breathe in space. You need a space mask, but that's true in low altitude orbit too. It's just the plane does it for you. Fun fact, now you know.
I hope everything is alright, Toy Cat. I hope you got that all situated. We don't want to witness you dying on stream. We would all be very sad. Also, thank you to chat for bringing the juice topic back up.
Yeah, no, I hate like random...
If you don't like wine, then you've probably only had expensive wine. Pro tip, try the cheap stuff. The next time you're in the US, go to a grocery store and look for Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill.
Oh, wait, so strawberry, okay, I have had that. There's a lot of like, I've had a lot of like very cheap wine, and I do agree that I like cheap wine slightly more than I like expensive wine, with the exception being dessert wine.
Corona
Dessert
can
wine I like
transmit
expensive.
wirelessly, so can a gas leak clock.
I mean, think about it. The 5G towers are sending out all of the virus, so they must be sending out, you know, gas leaks as well. That's science. No, honestly, the exact same logic that can get you to thinking that 5G is the reason that we're all getting sick can lead you to believing that, like, actually, hasn't, like, you know, it's that when you do that dumb thing where you're like, but has anyone got evidence that it's not true? Has anyone got evidence that there aren't gas leaks on the internet? I haven't seen a single peer-reviewed study that confirms there isn't. Therefore, there is. That's how the world works now. If I haven't seen proof that something doesn't exist, then it does. Which, I mean, like, admittedly, it's like a thinking brought into people by many large religions around the world. But, like, it's a worrying line of thinking. Also, can you say hi, Mittens? It's my cat name, says Gamer Green 15J. Hello, Mittens the cat. What a cute name you have, Mittens. Just wanted to say bye to my favorite YouTuber because I'm ending it all tomorrow, says Lucky Chain. So, yeah, I feel like 80% chance, 90% chance it's a joke. 10% chance that it's someone who is suicidal. my pro tip, friend. Because everyone's pro tip that they always give is like, oh, just go through it and it gets better. But it's like, what does that help you right now, you know? Like, getting better in the future. That's a long-term solution to a temporary problem. Or like, yeah, long-term solution to a short-term...
I watched your second channel videos yesterday. I saw the British person talks about the 50 biggest cities. Can you do that really quickly but with the great nation of Portugal and what you know about it?
Okay, so honestly, I've been considering for a while, like, making, like, a version of that that's, like, talking about every country in Europe, because there's 50 of them, too. Or every, like, 50 biggest cities in Europe. But real briefly followed it, Papel. Just for you. Personalized video content. I know that Portugal's very hot. I know it's like... It's got average wages that are lower than the rest of Western Europe. They are a neutral... No, they're not officially neutral. I think there's some level of neutrality, but they're in NATO, so not really. And they're the UK's oldest ally. And the border between them and Spain is the oldest border of any two nations in the world. Also, it's pretty, and I've been meaning to go forever, but I can't find flights. Like, in Europe, I refuse to pay for flights that are more than, like, I don't know, 100 euros return. Because, like, my expected price is, like, 20. If I'm paying 50, I'm like, oh, rip me off, charge me a whole, you know, $50 round trip or something. And when it's, like, 100, it's like, well, no, you know, I just won't. It's like doing what you should do in markets and, you know, refusing to buy products that are too expensive. Or, you know, like, whatever else. Being a good capitalist, I guess is what I'm saying. Even though I wanted to go to Lisbon.
Thanks for streaming. All of your content is amazing.
Thank you so much, Amanda Ree. Yeah, that sounds like someone who's like, you're not Amanda, you're like Amanda Ree, you know, like, I'm kind of Amanda. You know, I get a little Amanda Ree on the weekends. But thank you, Amanda Ree, for the £7.92. It means a lot. I assume that's $10. I'd guess that's $10. Are you a cold weather person or a hot weather person? Says is a loser. I'm a cold weather person. My favorite weather is realistically, like mild and neutral. Like if it is the weather where you can wear anything you want outside and be comfortable, that's great. If it's too hot to exercise, that's pain. If it's too humid to exercise, that's pain. If it's too humid to wear anything but just a t-shirt...
If the 5G and Corona are linked, then surely the world must be flat.
Exactly, BW. Exactly. Someone's finally connecting the dots that the government don't want us... I can't do a convincing conspiracy theory stream these times. So there was a flight that was going between Cyprus and Greece. And because the plane... They forgot to depressurize the plane, which meant that like when it took off after a certain amount of time, all of the passengers just started falling unconscious. But because they were all getting carbon monoxide... Actually, it's not carbon monoxide poisoned, it's like oxygen deprived. Because they were slowly losing oxygen, they weren't realizing what was happening. It was happening very slowly. So the only people who managed to get masks on time were the flight attendants. Or in fact, it wasn't even all the flight attendants. It was like some number of them. Like, there was a very small group of people who actually got their masks on time, if I recall correctly. And so yeah, basically there was this flight that had it was a decent number of people, like 100 or something. And even the pilots. No, wait, what it was is no, even the yeah. So like I think the pilots and maybe a flight attendant got some oxygen, but the reserve oxygen only lasted a certain amount of time. No, wait. Okay, I'm gonna hopefully not mess it up. But I believe, in fact, even the pilots didn't get oxygen in time. So, hypoxia. That's the one, mostly ghostly. Their brains were deoxygenated, and so everyone got really stupid real fast, including the people piloting the plane. So they couldn't do anything about it in time. They just passed out. Everyone passed out besides one person. And because it was on autopilot, it just kept on going and going and going. And I think it crashed into the ocean, and there was just nothing anyone could do about it. It was, or maybe it was shot down by the Greek military. Actually, not. We need to find this one out now. So, it's like Cyprus plane depressurized. Let's find the one. So it's Helios Airways flight 522 from Larnaca, Cyprus to Prague, Czech Republic, with a stopover in Athens, Greece. So from Cyprus to Athens. It killed all 121 people because the cabin depressurization incapacitated the crew, leaving the aircraft flying on autopilot till it ran out of fuel and crashed near Grammatico, Greece. It was the deadliest aviation incident in Greek history. And what makes it so much scarier... Okay, here's the cool thing, right? So everyone just, like, passed out because of lack of oxygen. The plane ran out of fuel, crashed into a mountain. That's scary, right? Here's what makes it so much more horrifying. I'm going to confirm right here. But a single flight attendant, bear in mind, everyone else passed out, didn't wake up ever again. They passed out in a plane at altitude. They didn't wake up. They burned alive. Maybe they woke up on the way down, which is even more horrifying. But let's not think about it. So, bear in mind that, like, all of these people, they went to sleep, and that's like the nicer way to go, because one flight attendant, his name is Andreas Prodromo. He woke up, he got some oxygen, and he tried to get to the, he got, like, to the front of the plane. He got to the captain's seat. Bear in mind, this is a flight attendant. He's not trained to pilot a plane, but he tried his best. Are you more conservative or liberal economically and socially? I assume you support the right because of the opinions you have. It's interesting because everyone always assumes I'm the opposite of whatever they are. Because I'm just contrarian. I don't agree with whatever position anyone says at the time. When the orthodoxy, there are very few things that are like widely considered good that I'm also like. Most things it's interesting. Also, so let me just what I'm saying, I'm a contrarian. I disagree with people a lot. I feel like that's a dumb position to have, but it's not my natural point. I'm not trying to sound dark, but I knew my flight was going down. I had KMS as a loser. See, that's the cool thing about not. So this one flight attendant, he wakes up in the flight, right? And he realizes that everyone's passed out. So he gets some oxygen. And then he slowly goes through the plane. He makes it to the pilot's seat. This is his opportunity, right? He can save the day, but he doesn't know how to pilot a plane. But like, he knows how to put it on autopilot or something like that. He really doesn't know what to do, even though he had a UK commercial pilot license. So he was better qualified than most flight attendants. But here's the thing. There were some F-16s that went past. Like, because obviously when a plane stops making contact, there's concerns. So, like, 2 fighter jets go past from the Greek military, and he waves at them, but he can't get on the right frequency. He's yelling, like, we later found out that he was the whole time desperately begging for help, but he was doing it on the Cyprus airwaves instead of on the Greek ones, so he was out of range for it. And basically, he spent the whole of his existence begging for help. No one could hear him. So that is the most horrifying thing that can happen on a plane. Is not that you can go to sleep and never wake up, but that you can go to sleep and wake up. And even if you're again, this was so lucky that the guy was qualified, but because he didn't know about the little detail about how that went down, as a result, boom, he's kind of done. So Kat, do you know that they announced RTX as William Philan? Yeah, it's coming out on Thursday, right? I was told that was a super private date, literally 2 days ago. And I was like, I guess that's public now. Silica, did you watch about this on Air Crash Investigation on Nat Geo? I love that series. It's the sort of series I should watch, but it's just one of those instances I read about because of tangential, oh yeah, I read about a thing that was related and it led me to that. But is begging for help. Thanks, that's horrible. I'm glad to remind you the world's a horrifying place.
So when are you joining People's Realms? Talking about your tweet from earlier. Cause I've prepared mine and I'm hoping you will join. Smiley face. Looking for some classic toy cat criticism, you know?
I feel really mean to say this, but I have already done it. Oh, that was the video I felt awful about when it was done. I was like, ugh, there's so much video footage here to be edited, and I'm not sure I want to deal with that. So, okay, man. Okay, lots of things going on. By the way, I thought my Net Fortress was actually fun. Really nice idea. Have some of my rubles as a thanks. Says, thank you so much, Mr. Ruble Man. As I'm sure your friends call you. Death by plane seems tea. Also, donations are donations. Okay, cool, says Sea Monkey. Yeah, people are very kind. They like to tip when they enjoy a thing, and it means a lot to me. What currency is this, says Ian Balls? £1.04. I literally couldn't tell you, friendo. Because usually you can guess that they donated a round amount of some other currency. But you gave a currency that's very similar to the pound. Maybe it'd be like euros. Wait, euro to... No, it'd be the wrong way around for euro to pound. Yeah, I don't know how to convert my words, so sad, no judgment. How do they know about the flight attendant if no one else was awake and the plane crashed? Oh yeah, like I said, so when a plane stops responding, the military sends out planes to check on it because, like, it's, you know, like after 9/11, we don't just assume that something's gone wrong, we assume there's a terror event. So, yeah, after the plane stops responding, I think it's 2 Greek F-16s, like fighter jets. They go side by side on it, and they can see the flight attendant waving at them. And yeah, the reason we know that he was talking for so long on the Cyprus air frequency was because when a plane crashes, there's like a black box. It's not actually a black box, but I address this and more in my book that actually I'm not sure I've ever released. I've got to re-release a book still. I made a whole thing, like, things you don't need to know about the world. And then then Amazon, like, cancelled it for some reason. And then I didn't, like, republish it. But you know what, soon, you can understand why black boxes are called black boxes, even though they're not black boxes. Wow, self-promo, what a monster. Donald's gonna invite you to my realm. Yeah, I said like, I'd give, like, 3 hours to 3 days. And then I decided on, like, 7 hours, which is between those things. Did you know they make suitcases for wine bottles? So sorry. There's a lot of people who travel specifically to bring back wine from the areas they go to. It's one of those, like, lines of thought I can't fully understand. But it's like, well, fair enough. It's like you can rent luggage. And it's like, huh, you can rent luggage. It's just like, I don't know, it's kind of rough. Did you hear about the man who stole a plane at Seattle International Airport and used the plane to commit suicide? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he was like a mechanic or something that always wanted to, like, fly a plane, but couldn't. So he stole it, and then, like, he realized he was in a lot of trouble, so he just killed himself. He's like, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble, aren't I? And they're like, don't worry about that. Worry about, like... And actually, you know, can we talk about something? I think I'd rather die of carbon monoxide or oxygen deprivation than anything else. I feel worse the flight attendant than the others because they just fell asleep. Yeah, right, that guy had the opportunity. Bear in mind, not only was he, like, he had to experience the knowing he was going to die, begging for help and no one coming, etc. Bear in mind, what's even worse than that is it wasn't just his life on the line. He died knowing that if he'd have done something different, because if he'd have just known a little bit more about a Boeing 737 and how to operate the interior, if he'd have known a little bit more, he could have saved 121 lives. So as he's dying, he's not only thinking, oh God, I'm gonna die, but also me not being a qualified enough pilot has led to all of these deaths as well. So that's a nice thought, isn't it? You know, optimism with Toy Cat. You know, there is good news in the world sometimes, and there's also bad news in the world. Just a reminder. Is rented luggage filled with random clothes, says Jessica Clark. Oh man, I love that as an idea, by the way. I would love to rent luggage that's filled with clothes, and then, like, at the end they wash them for me or whatever. Like, I don't actually have any real qualms about wearing someone's clothes if they feel clean. Like, clothes that smell funny, not gonna wear them. Someone else's very clean clothes, you know, why not? Like, not clean where you make it smell like it's washed, because it'll smell like someone else's washer. Clean where it just smells like nothing. I'd be down with that. That sounds like a great idea. But yeah, no, can we talk about something? Like, this bugs me a little bit. Also, why am I placing ice at the top of the Nether? Because I placed it on the bottom already. I'm running out of places where it makes sense to place ice, okay? This is just what we do. We place ice in places, and then... Oh, we place ice in places. And then we live with the consequences. What future nations would you like to see? Hashtag EAF. Honestly, I would like to see a world... I feel like it's better for individual people when people live in smaller countries, and it's better for the world as a whole when people live in bigger countries. It's better for you if other people live in big countries, and it's better for you individually to live in a small country, is my honest estimation, in a world of peace at least. I sent a very detailed message about planes in Discord, Mr. Channel. Toy Cat is yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Catos. Oh, and you got the Robin Hood code. Someone has to sign up now just to make this guy whole, I reckon. So, can we talk about something that annoys me? It's like, how negotiators, or like, yeah, I guess it's negotiators. Like, it's how they deal with situations. So, like, you know, the example we're talking about here. Does a person's name influence the person they become? Just asking a philosophical question, says Keylima. I'm so sure that it must influence it. Like, if everyone expects you to be an Alan, you might not become an Alan. You know, like an Alan. You know the stereotypical Alan. You know that guy. You might not become it because of precisely that. Like, I need to place some blocks down. We're going to place, like, one there. And then one, like, down here. Is there a better way to do this? I guess without water, there's not. Oh, with twisting vines, this would be perfect for this situation. So now we just stack to the side over here. And let's go on to here a little bit, because this island's been missing a little bit for a while, you know? Let's finish it off. Let's make it feel better. But yeah, I definitely think that it does happen. Also, now I'm crying the very spicy Minecraft one will be judged by the cat toys. Can you use your psychic powers to give a blind review? Says Legend77. Well, you're called Legend77, so you think that you're very good, and there's about a 23% chance that you are very good, and a 77% chance that it's like pretty average, but you think it's amazing because you're surrounded by mediocrity. But that's just my guess. So yeah, so the example we just gave is a guy stole a plane, which is a huge crime, don't get me wrong, and then while he's in the air, the negotiators are trying to get him down. And what they'll always say is, like, they won't focus on the big punishment. He'll be like, I'm going to get punished, aren't I? And they're like, let's not focus on that. I feel like the best thing to do is be like, actually, no, we won't punish you. And say it and mean it, you know? One of the best things we could do to help that not happen in future. Because if I ever steal a plane, I'm not going to give it back. Because, even though I like living, my odds are tilted towards suicide. Because it's like, well, we've seen in past that, like, they do prosecute people very heavily. Whereas if they were like, oh yeah, he negotiated an exception and we stuck to it, it'd be like, that's nice. Whereas everyone you know who's like, oh yeah, they asked nicely for this, they don't get one. Hi Toycat, I listen to your videos when I work out. Is that weird? Scary stories about dying on a plane is more interesting than gym music, says Crocodiles. I wouldn't say it's weird. I think, so music sounds like it's like a whole different category to podcasts, but they both are audio-only content. And, you know, obviously it goes without saying. But, I mean, like, obviously my videos are actually a video. But some people ignore the video and go straight to the audio. I can't blame you for that, necessarily. I've been watching, I've been away, lots going on recently, says Salvatore Fugrino. I'm sorry to hear that, friend. I also have apparently lots going on. IBX Slick has a brave certified creator. That is in fact true, actually. Yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily believing the currency, but, like, I think it'll, like, I really hope that it, like, becomes a big thing. I don't personally think it will, but I'm ready to, like, I really want to I want to help it become one if it does. Like, my apathy turns into a thing that's there. Also, someone said earlier, like, oh yeah, I actually vote against people rather than voting for people. I think when it comes to voting, I try to be the most optimistic I can in my votes. Like, I think voting against someone is a zero-sum game where, like, you always lose. But I just pick the party that is least unaligned to my views. And, you know, usually there's one. Or at least I pick, like, the issues that are the most important. And I acknowledge that they are going to be served better than all the other issues. And that's okay, you know? That's just okay. So let's place a few more ice blocks around here. It's kind of a waste to do, but just so we can get over there, too. Jessica Forsyth, have you heard the DB Cooper plane hijacking? And then she says that in 1971, it's interesting that he never got caught. Is that the one where he jumped out and then still was never found? I bet it is, right? DB Cooper. So, he hijacked a Boeing 727 in the northwest United States in the airspace between Portland and Seattle. He purchased this online ticket. Okay. Yeah, he probably didn't survive the jump, but his remains have never been uncovered. It's very unlikely that he did, based on the fact that it never happens. But it's fascinating that like the dude might be alive today. If Minecraft had a cave update, what would you like to see in it most? Says Key Limer. A man after my own heart, I see. I had the idea today, by the way. I don't know how much I want to do it, but like asking like random college students or university students or whatever, like what Minecraft should add in a cave update. Like going around a campus with like a proper professional looking crew and everything, and asking questions like, so what's your name? What do you do here? Do you play Minecraft? Minecraft needs a cave update, right? I worry like what percent of people recognize me. Like when I recently went to San Francisco University, and a lot of people like recognize me there. Hey, thank you, Chantal, for becoming a support cat. Now, if you look at the message in chat, it's blue and green. I've never seen that before. Boop. Placing ice on the ceiling, talking about plane crashes. Oh, I love plane crashes. I love plane, like, not, like the ones where people die, they're fascinating too, don't get me wrong. I love me a good, 100 people dying in one instant. But what I love more than that is, the mysteries. So, like, the mystery of, like, I love the, like, how history can be moved a little bit sometimes. Like, people always say, like, oh yeah, I just did what anyone would have done. But the truth is, some people do a better job than others at, doing the things that they need to get done. And I've got an idea. I want to place ice underneath this, but I don't think I can. Okay, I'm calling the police, says Yitotron. But one of the ways that, like, you can really move the needle on history is, like, if you save a bunch of people. Because every time we think about an example where someone did save people, it's like that. And we rarely call out people as like, oh yeah, he should have saved them, but he couldn't. But that's what we should look at that as. It's like, in the same way that like, oh yeah, the guy who killed a bunch of people, the guy who kidnapped a plane and like crashed into the ocean. Like, sure, that guy, not a great guy. But if, like, what could we have done to make him not do it? And in the same way, like, if that guy had been slightly better prepared, all those people wouldn't have died in that Greek airline. But here's one I find even more interesting. So I don't know what the art piece was. I'll have to Google it, like, Japan art flights. I'll make sure I get the details locked down before I share all of you. So there was a... Oh, goddamn. What is it? Japan plane art accident. There was a... Japan Airlines Flight 123, by the way. What a lovely number for this. So, it was a passenger flight, and in the cargo hold, there was a, oh no, this isn't the one I'm thinking about. But, there's this flight where, in the cargo hold, there was this very, very, very expensive painting, like, priceless. Like, it couldn't be priced up. And because the plane crashed, the art was never recovered. In fact, most things weren't, that's how plane crashes work. And so as a result, like, the art was never discovered, and people theorized, like, maybe the crash was staged. Because an infinite amount of money, and realistically, people say when it's priceless, it doesn't actually mean it's worth an infinite amount. It means, like, an amount that cannot be easily measured with money because of the rarity was lost in that plane crash. And plane crashes are usually not worth staging because the number of lives, etc. involved. But when you're talking about priceless things, it might be worth doing so. It's a conspiracy. By the way, thanks so much, Rael and Ollie Cashmore. You have to drink from one color straw for the rest of your life. What color would you choose? Probably white or something like super nondescript. I guess clear, actually, because it'd go in the most places. If not that, then probably like orange or something. Because like if you got a blue straw, that's obnoxious. The orange straws look like you got it from Burger King. I always found it to be like subtle but cool at the same time. So we can just take my little thing here. Look at that. I've just made a giant juice box, I realize. How are you gonna kidnap a plane? Oh, here's the real deal. I want to clarify, not just for like legal protection. I don't think I'd want to kidnap a plane. It sounds like a lot of work keeping like hostages under control, etc., etc. Who wants to deal with that? Also, I had to leave for a second because cat pissed over all my clothes while staring me down. What did I miss? I've had a cat do that to me before. Cats are mean, is the lesson you can take away from this one. Cats are very mean. They do mean things all the time. And they don't do them because they want to be mean. They just are inherently mean creatures. So, yeah, I thought I was the only one who knows too much about plane crashes. The cool thing about plane crashes, it's interesting. This is, I think it probably goes under, like, fame bias, right? Like, everyone assumes plane crashes all the time. When you get into a plane, you worry about the crashes, partly because it's out of your control, but also once you hear about all these plane crashes, you're like, planes crash all the time. But the interesting thing about plane crashes is per passenger mile, it's safer than, you know, it's like one of the safest forms of transport because no accident is treated as a worthwhile cost. If you have to go through a 10-minute procedure every single flight to avoid a 1 in a million crash situation, it happens, you know? The amount of effort we put into not making planes crash, it's actually really high. Whereas when you think about car crashes, which, you know, you don't think about very often, but they happen all the time. There are so many car crashes, they don't make the news because they're not news. So, Kat, have you considered joining Hermitcraft? Says Leroy Biggins. Thank you for that question. I don't receive it all the time. But just in case you are genuinely asking, you haven't caught another stream before. It's a Java server. I'm a Bedrock YouTuber. Yeah, there you go. So I hope that you enjoy. I generally think of cats as trolls. They show affection by annoying humans. I mean, the fact that they know how to annoy you means that they care about you. Which sounds dumb, but it is kind of true. Like, it's kind of like when you push the girl on the playground because you like her. Or, you know, vice versa. You know, like, it's a thing. It's a dumb thing, but it's a thing that people do to each other. That, like, oh yeah, if you know enough about someone to annoy them, that's a form of caring. It's not a very good form. It's not the form I choose. If you care about me, internet, please do not annoy me. That is my request. But, like, even the trolls who are, like, saying the dumbest stuff over again, they care about me enough to show up, you know? I show cats affection by annoying them too, so it's fine. See, I don't get it. You know, cats annoy us all the time, but as soon as I annoy a cat, it's considered animal abuse. So dumb, you know? So dumb. So, Kat, what are your personal... Oh, wait. What's your next big project after this? Probably lighting up my world. I don't know if that's, like, a big project. Probably should, like, start recording parts of the video as a thing. But, like, as far as, like, the next big project, probably going to be the Blackstone Castle here in the Nether. Like, it makes sense that the next update, I have to start doing Nethery things. Like, I want to finish this before the Nether update's, like, about to release, and then... Anyway, there you go. What's your personal standards for defining personhood, says Depression Seek. I thought I got them in the right order this time, but I don't. I always get them wrong. Snap, I guess I'll stop annoying you then, says Alcazar. Will you be collaborating with Green anytime soon, says Jamester. Actually, I didn't realize this till recently. Like, he's grown, like, without offense to myself. Can you say that? Yeah, I can say that. Without offense to myself. He's, like, a far bigger YouTuber. Like, I don't think he'd have any... Like, it's not a... Like, him collaborating with me is him doing me a favor at this point. Rather than, like, an equal exchange as it was when we first did it. Ignoring the fact that he probably releases fewer videos, so it might benefit me. But, like... Yeah, I looked at the biggest channels in the UK by monthly views. I want to say he's like 7th or something. Am I getting that right? Maybe by subscribers. I had a list. I don't know where it was, but when it comes to UK YouTube, oh, I've still got it open. I've still got it open. So in the UK, if you go by total subscribers, then Green is the 10th biggest channel in the UK. It's like, oh wow. Whereas I am the 67th biggest channel in the UK. That's actually pretty cool, right? Actually, sorry, I didn't check that till just now. I should have. But I just found it like while looking for something else. But isn't that kind of cool that I'm like the 67th biggest channel? Is that like a big thing or not? I'm not sure how to feel about that actually. But yeah, so there are 66 channels in the UK. 66 people in the UK have more subscribers than me. But that's weird that it's such a no number. Like, that means that I'm top 0.0... I'm 1 in a million. Top 1 millionth, which in percentage terms is what, like 0.0001%. Dang, not 69. I need to lose some subscribers and go back down. Thank you very much, Bappo the Swagger, for the rating of my Weevil cheeks. Whatever that means. Oh wait, it's that weird. I think last time it came up, everyone's like, Toycat, you don't know Weevil cheeks. I was like, I'm sorry. It's not a fact that stores in my brain, apparently. The biggest channel in the UK is the Bristol channel. The biggest channel in the UK is Dan TDM, followed by Ali A. Everyone knows the stare technique that he uses. That it's really good. BCC Trolling, Syndicate, Sloggo, Yogscast, Mess Yourself, Vicstar, Mumbo Jumbo, Grian, Elder Shadow Laddie, Amazing Phil, Daz Games, The Gaming Lemon. I just know him back in the day. Also, enjoy your takeout tomorrow. Hopefully $10 CDM will be enough, or for maybe the tax, says Rael. So let me clarify. I'm not saying this to be ungrateful. I'm saying this because I care about... I think you would be interested in the actual numbers rather than me, like, giving you a fake, like, oh yeah, I'll buy takeaway of your thing tomorrow. In the UK, I'd say, like, £10 is, like, a pretty good guess, like, before, like, delivery fees. Because a lot of takeaways don't have delivery fees, but nowadays, delivery fees are coming back because, like, websites are charging them instead of the people themselves. Anyway, so, I'd say, like, £10 before delivery fees is pretty standard, and the average delivery fee is, like, £2.50 or something. So I'd say like $12.50 is my average takeaway.
You ain't number one because you ain't educated on the weevil cheeks.
You know what, Bappo the Swagger? you found me out. You're exposing my fraud, and you know what? I can't be mad at you for that. I mean, someone has to do it, right? Someone has to do it. Glad I can support your takeaway habits. 10 Canadian is like £5.60. So yeah, £5.60 is sadly not quite a takeaway, but you can enjoy. You have in fact given me, like, what would that be, like the... Oh, enough for maybe the tax. He's saying, oh, the tax on the takeaway. Oh, in the UK. Actually, wait, is VAT chargeable on takeaway? VAT on takeaway. I don't think there is in the UK. Oh, there is actually, only on hot food. In the UK, I think normal food is non-VAT, and basically, so if my food is £12.50, £2.50 if that's tax, and you technically covered that,
Just got
yeah.
here. Have some hazard pay toy cat tax. What are you drinking tonight?
I got some grape juice. I'm enjoying it a lot, Emma Swift. I picture you being Australian now, Emma Swift. You know what, can I just call you Emma? I'll just call you Emma. I would just call you Emma, but there's too many Emmas, actually. But, I'm trying to climb this, but it's such a mess. Let's just use scaffolding. We'll destroy this later. Let's place some ice over here. Oh, we have so little ice left. We should probably, like, go back and deal with that. How much is a pound compared to a US dollar? £1 is about 1.25 US dollars. It was about 1.3 for the last 2 years. And in 2016, before certain events, it was like 1.5. And in 2010, it was about 2. So long story short, our currency is sliding off a cliff. But a good cliff, you know. Isn't a human being just a big, complicated straw, says Campbell's bean with bacon soup? It kind of is when you think about it. Takeaways different taxes to it, but they're taxed when they have a certain number of customers. Yeah, the truth is like, if you actually want to get, like, technical on this, because when I buy takeaway, they use a certain amount of that money to pay their business rates, which is a form of tax. And then once they take the profits, they have to pay a tax on those profits, which is a type of tax. And then, etc. Will Toycat say LGBT rights? LGBT rights. Technically speaking, I could say it while also being a bigot who is wildly opposed to them. Which is why I've always thought, like, people saying it, like, you know...
Will
like,
an extra £10 do for a takeaway?
Thank you very much, Bappo the Swagger, for the £10 super chat. Well, actually, wait, yeah, it was... if you want me to get technical with you here, Mr. Swagger, first of all, you've been very generous today, so, like, don't worry, my takeaway is on you. But because when you pay via super chat instead of the link down below, I don't force people. When you do super chat, Susan Wojcicki personally takes 30%, and by that I mean YouTube takes 30% as like their fee for like encouraging you to super chat. It's crazy that like you can I talk about this again? Like, this is one of my big little bones to bear with YouTube. They used to have a system called I think it was like called channel support, where you could give YouTubers money in live streams, and they took a 5% cut. And then they relaunched it as super chats. They took a 30% cut, said it was a positive thing, and idiot YouTubers, I'm still mad at them. They're like, what a cool feature, super chats, it's new, it's fresh. And it's like, no, you just got 25% stolen from you. And like, it was such a good marketing exercise that YouTube just got 20. Bear in mind, you know, like how many, you know, hundreds of dollars are given every second on YouTube live streams that YouTube takes 30% off, by the way. They take, you know, like 4% of that's transaction fees. And like, yeah, running YouTube is expensive, but they take money on the ad as well. It's like, how do we let? Because you know, in case you're curious, I don't mind that YouTube takes a certain. Every time you watch an ad on YouTube, they get 45% of the money. They might get 55, but they get roughly half the money on every ad. But that makes sense. They're the one delivering the content to you. Like, sure, it takes longer for me to make the content than for them to deliver it. But YouTube literally costs billions a year in server costs, internet, etc., etc. I'm not mad about that, but I'm mad about the idea that like
own takeaway.
Susan can buy her own takeaway. Hey, mischievous, my hero. Thank you very much for the £7.92. Again, Streamlabs message, which means that YouTube does not. YouTube has, you know, Susan has to dig into her own pockets instead of my pockets. Yeah, how you feel about that, Susan? Taking away your takeaway money now. Let's face it, YouTube doesn't need 30% of that $1 super chat. Honestly, that's honestly what annoys me more about it. Like, I mentioned before, like, supporting things that you care about is something I value a lot. But when it comes to, like, big corporations, you feel much less like you're actually affecting anything, and you feel more like a money cow. It's one of the problems of, like, modern, I'd say modern capitalism, but, like, modern, the way our markets are shaped these days is that there are many big corporations and governments that don't feel, when you pay taxes, you don't feel like you're actually paying for roads and whatever good things you think government does. You just feel like the government's taking your money. No income right now, but figured I'd pay my ticket tax. Looking forward to 1.16 on Java. Also, opinions on realms compared to paying for a server. I probably wouldn't say it too often, but I think objectively, if you want value for money, you do not buy Minecraft realms. Is my controversial take on this one. But if you want ease of use, Realms does offer enough features to make it a good... Like, I think Realms Plus is a really clever way to move forwards. Your drink is just a big juice box, says Alcazar. I said that already, so you're basically a monster for repeating me. Stealing my stuff. I can't believe you. I have never stolen anything of yours and not given credit for it. Also, here's my ticket tax. Thank you for keeping me so entertained while we're forced to be stuck inside. Thank you, friend. It means a lot to me. I know a lot of people, like, the rates of unemployment that are happening right now are, like, super scary, I think, to anyone who cares, even the slightest. So I totally understand that, like, some people are losing their jobs, they're going through transition periods, etc. It's crazy that some people, like, you know, Emma Swift is, like, hazard pay for Toycat, and that means a lot. But it's crazy that, like, so much is affected right now, is what I'm trying to say. And I think about it a lot. Imagine Toycat's search history after every stream. Oh, yeah, that's going to be real dodgy, isn't it? I've just looked up a series of plane crashes. That's probably not a good idea. Probably not a good idea. But yeah, when you've got, like, a big corporation of any form, like, I've seen so many memes that are like, so the government taxes me at 40%. I don't recall, you know, them being there from, like, 8 AM till midday, because that's how 40% works out. The first 40% of hours of the day, you work for free. Thank you, Izzy Alice, for the £2, and also continue my streak of Token access, says Brendan Hampton. See, I recognize Brendan Hampton because it's not like a, aha, I'm gonna use this as a ploy to guilt you. It's just like, oh no, here's some Toycat tax, friend. Hope you enjoy it. But I'm gonna make this into my own little ice cave, separate to the main Nether thing. That's my plan, at least. And then we can use this as like a secret little something else. I'm not too sure. We'll work with it as we go along. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, then today I'm just placing some ice, and you don't need to know anymore. I think the token tax is the first tax people are happy to pay. Well, that's because, again, like, because I'm an individual, you are, like, you know, it goes back to that thing I said about money earlier. Like, you know, like, $100 to me, I know what I would buy with $100 if you gave it to me. Actually, like, nerdly enough, I think I'd be like, oh, I'd throw it in some dumb investment, because investments get me excited. You know, financial security is something I get excited for. But as far as like what else I would get, I've been looking into. I bought a food dehydrator yesterday. I don't know what dehydration really does, but it sounds like a fun way to eat fruit. Because like I love freeze-dried strawberries. It's like, can I make an equivalent of that? There's a lot of like fruit snacks I want to make to be healthy. So I bought a dehydration machine. But I've also seen like people do YouTube experiments of them, and it's like, I love science. Let's do that. Do you recommend that apple cider vinegar drink? Honestly, I think about that drink every now and then, and I think there's someone drinking that non-ironically. There's a guy who's like, oh yeah, thank God that I pay the extra £3 a bottle for the good stuff. And it's like, man, do they feel good about it in the end? Like, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Also, so Kat, what do you think is what's your next project that you can do after this Nice in the Nether? Says A Vallejo. It's gonna be a Nether-based project because of the Nether update. I'm
Please
pretty sure.
enjoy this bountiful toy cat tax. Just he got paid. Party face.
I'll be honest with you. One of the things, so thanks so much, Pygol, for the £10. One of the things, one of the first like goals I think anyone should have in their life is to live off. Wait, look, this isn't criticism. It's gonna go somewhere. I'm not saying Pygol, you're the worst for getting paid. Is to live off like last month's money. So like when you get paid, that pays like if you get paid 1st of April, that covers expenses from the 1st of May onwards. That's like one of the pro tips of money that like I've heard. It's like a good thing to do in life if you want to be financially sound or whatever. But so even though like that's a thing that like that was one of my first ever goals of YouTube. Like okay, just slowly transition so that one day. Because, you know, I get my money way later after I earn it, and whether I get it or not depends on, like, a lot of people doing their job right. They haven't done it wrong yet, but, like, I'm aware of the fragility of the money that comes my way. Besides from, like, when you use Streamlabs, by the way, fun fact, I get it immediately, but different point, different whole thing. So, yeah, basically, I love my dehydrator, homemade jerky. Oh yeah, I've been looking into jerky as well. It's a thing you can do with it. It sounds real fun. Also, I feel like jerky has a Y. I'm not sure if I'm right on that one though. But yeah, I live with 40% of my income. That's really cool, Ali Hussein. That is like a awesome goal to like. Good job. Proud of you, man. But if you can live off last month's money, then you're like more secure. But even then, I got paid like yesterday, or maybe it was like tonight. It was like whatever. I don't actually know when I get paid. Random day of the month. It's usually one of the first. It's usually between like 7 and 15. 15 these days is the latest. I've seen it as early as like the 5th. But it's like at some day of the month, money arrives, and it's like. That was the money you earned 2 months ago.
Why it not read the message out.
Thank you, Ian Balls. Yeah, basically, what I'm trying to say is that like even though you should be aiming to live off last month's money, it's still cool being paid, because when you live in any system, there's always a tiny chance. Like we're kind of realizing it right now, right? Like all the things we assume. Just always have to exist there, right? They don't exist because they have to exist. They exist because someone's doing their job right. And nowadays, there's a lot of people who are doing their job right, but not right enough. They can't do it right enough to support things. I know it's like one of the messages I always have, right, is like be grateful for things. And I don't mean that just on a personal level. Like be grateful for, you know, the fact that people care about you. Because even if you think people don't care about you, they do. It's cool. But also, like, be grateful that society works somehow. I still don't understand how we managed to build a world where just people do all these sorts of autonomous things for your benefit, by the way, in lots of cases. Like, you don't have to give people much money to do, like, wondrous things for you. But the fact that that is a thing is, like, mind-boggling to me. I never thought I'd say this, but I miss going to work, says is a loser. See, that's how I can tell you're a loser. I'm just going to keep making the same joke every time. You give me permission, and I'm gonna take advantage of that. Sharkboy says how to use my PayPal debit card in order to tip on Streamlabs. You have a PayPal debit card. That's so cool, Mr. Sharkboy. I need to learn about your endeavors after the world of fast food, Sharkboy, sometime. But thanks so much for the tips. It means a lot. I hope... I'm glad that you are choosing to do so. And I hope that you're, again, all good otherwise, stable in the world, Mr. Shark Boy. Because you know what, Shark Boy, again, when there's people that are like, oh yeah, they share this, share that, they just want to say some nice messages. I care about you as a person. Unlike Taze32, I don't care about you and your hope I'm having a great day. Also, love your streams. Thank you for doing them. Also, El Bread has been yoted. Is this what memes are now? Do you just say things that don't make sense and then, like, that's funny? What is it? What is your joke, Taze32? You know, see, I don't relate to Taze32 because El Bread has been yoted. Does not make as much sense. To be honest, I don't know how we built an economy. Yeah, like it's people taking things for granted is a natural part of human life. I'm not trying to say that like people shouldn't take things for granted. It's such an old wickedy thing to say. But like, yeah, how the world exists and functions, not a little bit, but on the level it does every single day, day in and day out. The world doesn't take breaks. You know, the worldwide economy is functioning every single day of the year until there's a big pandemic, in which case we realize, oh, yeah, turns out we needed people for that. Like, it's easy to assume that the whole system, like, it's kind of like, it's easy to assume that the whole system runs itself. There's just a big computer that runs everything. But there's a lot of people required, like, all over the chain that are just, like, making tiny, you know, when they do their job right, you don't know they've done their job at all. And then sometimes they don't do their job right, and you realize, oh, they were doing a job back there. That's kind of wacky. We really do be having an economy, says Lincoln. It's wacky, right? Think about it. You know, back in the olden days, and by that I mean like before the concept of economy, like if you wanted something, you found someone who had the thing, and you tried to give them a thing that they hopefully wanted in exchange for their thing. And even if they needed the thing, they could just be like, nah, don't like you actually. And then if the only person who could make the thing anywhere near you didn't want to give it to you, then I guess you don't get the thing. It's like, that's just economies for you. They be like that, they do. And it's like, how is that ever a system? How is that just the accepted the way of being? But it was, and we sure were alive at a time. Provides a bit of mental reset on who is essential, says Tiffany Spencer. Oh, that's another interesting take from this is like the things that we determine as being like essential or not. Like, it's such a long list, and it makes you realize like, oh yeah, because everything's so interconnected. Like Yasmin says, can get some applause for the thumbnail. Everything's so interconnected, and you don't realize until you're like, if someone, like, literally, if this is just medical fact right here. If you can keep people inside, I'm saying medical fact. This is how viruses spread. If you could literally keep everyone inside for 2 weeks, let's say 3 weeks to be excessive, no one ever in the world can go outside for 3 weeks. We have cured not only COVID. But we've not only cured the current pandemic, we've cured the common colds for the most part. Like most strains of it, I don't think any last longer than 3 weeks, right? Pretty much every major virus dies, but so including one that is killing thousands of people, right? And it's like, so all we have to do is just keep everyone inside for that amount of time. It's fundamentally impossible. So you're like, so how do we keep the fewest people outside so we can keep the most people indoors? And it's like, okay, so food, people who work at stores, yeah, and also nurses. Those are the only two things. People who make you healthy and people who give you food so you don't die. People who stop you from dying, basically. And it's like, okay, so if you want to have food in the stores, though, you need to have food delivery drivers driving around the country. It's like, okay, food delivery also. And then it's like, so also if you want those people to be able to get to work, you need public transport. It's like, public transport workers also. And it's like, if you want people to be able to, who currently drive or ride a bike, you need like car and bike maintenance places. Okay, those places are open also. Also, you know, so takeaway food still essential. No, I mean not essential. I don't know. Like basically, the list just gets longer and longer and longer until you realize that like 70% of people are like arguably essential, and even the lowest definitions you can cause is like 10-15% of people outside, which is why people talk about a lockdown lasting, you know, like months. And even then, it's not the lockdown isn't even to get rid of this; it is to lessen the spread, right? Like we could actually eliminate it, but we physically we require that number of people because everything's just too linked together. Which I don't think too linked together is a bad thing, but it's just a reminder that like the simplest solutions, there is simple solutions to everything, but those simple solutions come with such great costs. And even though this isn't going to change people's minds, like when someone suggests the most simple solution to something that no one's thought about, the truth is people have thought about it. Politicians have thought like, wow, think about how good my ratings would be if I could push this public, but then they haven't done it. And the thing is, you got to think about why. It's with ungentle walk, you're allowed to go for a walk for leisure, but not drive for leisure. Yeah, oh, by the way, in America, they call lockdown shelter in place. I find that so cute. I find that like, oh yeah, it's not draconic locking you down. It's telling you to shelter in place, but like mandatorily shelter in place in your own home. Like stay in your own home unless you need to leave it. You know, but sheltering in, it's like just, why does it have to be a different term, you know? Just because you can work from home doesn't mean you're not essential, says Pookie Helms. Oh yeah, I agree with that. I mean like essential reasons to be able to leave the house for work. Because then also you're allowed to leave the house to get food. Because obviously not everyone can buy enough food to last for 3 weeks. And then it's like, okay, so now everyone's going outside almost the same number of times a day. A lot of people are going outside more times a day. And we actually end up with a super tiny reduction because like... Again, the actual best course of action would be like... Work out the longest time people can live without food. Again, this is a bad thing. I'm not recommending this because I don't have enough food. I will be a victim in what I'm saying. Just be like, humans can live what, like 30 days without food? Cut that in like 10 days. Everyone just stay inside for 10 days. No one besides the damn, you need to enforce it. So the police still go out. And now they're spreading it amongst each other because how close do police get to each other? I've seen police videos. They do not observe social distancing amongst themselves. And then it's like, well, damn, okay. Now it's physically impossible because human beings be like that. It's apparently 30 days. But I wonder, like, some people, like, after 10 days, some number of people start dying from hunger. I don't know how many. I'm not, like, a food scientist. I'd like to be one. Sounds like a fun job, honestly. Fasting's very healthy, actually. But even so Muslims fast every year, right? Ramadan, I hope I got that right. So they don't eat from sundown to sunup. Even not eating for 12 hours. Some people go for some issues. Right, that's a known quantity. So then it's like, okay, so we can't actually, if after 12 hours there are medical concerns. It's like, maybe it's not 12 hours, like 17. Oh wait, here's a fun one actually. Wait, so I hope, let's just talk about fasting from sun up to sundown. Let's not say any religion. So I live on the east coast of the US and I heard lockdown may way more than shelter in place. Also, you can call me Emma, says Emma Swift. You are the swiftest, Emma, with how fast you respond. That is for... Actually, that wasn't very swift. That was quite slow. You know, more like Emma slow. Sunrise to sundown. Sunrise to sundown. You know what? So I tried my best, friends. I tried my best. So because it's sunrise to sundown, did I say that correctly? Yeah, sun up to sundown. So it means that people who decide to fast while the sun is up, if you live north of the Arctic Circle, the sun rises and doesn't set for another 3 months. You can look into it. It's wacky. It doesn't make any sense, but like the Earth is wacky and doesn't make sense too. So it's kind of beautiful. But because they do it from sun up to sundown and there is no sundown, they just kind of try to work out like when should the sun set. Because it's one of those reminders that like, oh yeah, the sun sets every day, even if at different times of the day, everywhere in the world. except the few places where it doesn't. Like, there's the exceptions to every rule that remind you that, like, oh yeah, things are complicated. Trying to come up with simple things. Not so simple as it turns out. Also, after 3 years passing, you gain the risk of your heart getting in trouble, but 2 days...
Hello Toy Cat, how is it going? Why do you stream so late?
Thank you, Commander Y. Why do I stream so late? I stream so late because I am going to... the only word I can think of that rhymes is not one I should clarify I'm about to do, Mr. Commander Y. No, I stream so late just because, like... after I finish all my videos in the day, it's usually, like, 8:30, 9:30. And I try to take a little gap between videos and streaming, so I'm not, like, mentally exhausted. I need to go check on my, I need to go check on that boiler thing. I feel like I should get somewhere safer before we do that. Just to be sure. One sec. And do a better job next time if you don't want to be hit right across the face again. Anyway, so, sorry, I was just talking to myself again. I do that all the time. Everything seems fine. I think it was like a one-time event. He's gone, guys. Let's cut him. Ouch, Alina Khan. Is this the private conversation you wanted to have without me? I am seriously, seriously hurt. I don't know if I'll ever recover from a tragedy this bad. So, yeah, Toy Cat leaves Ghast, it's free real estate. Are people really hearing Ghasts? That's interesting. Oh, there's in fact a Ghast noise, like, there's a Ghast trapped somewhere around there. We're, like, pretty sure. I think. I could be wrong. Maybe I am wrong. You know what? If you think about it, maybe we're all wrong. Is there such a thing as being correct? Who are you beating, says Lord Thriller. Oh no, that's just a funny joke, you know. Like the love thing. You gotta keep guessing. Everyone's like, Toy Cat's got a girlfriend. It's like, wow. Did you just assume my preferred gender of dating? I saw last whole video where you chop trees. 1, fun fact, Corona is from China. 2, I'm happy for you. Whoa. That's not... Who's learning for the first time that the first case of, like, COVID is from China? Who's like, wow, that's a new piece of knowledge to me. Also, I'm happy if you feel happier. Your videos help me with my bipolar disorder. Thank you, says Patrick from Poland. I feel like I have, like, a above average exposure to bipolar disorder. My first, like, long-term girlfriend was, like... She supposedly has it, although she was a hypochondriac, so, like... A part of me suspicious. She believed she had it. She had behaviors that were mildly consistent with borderline personality disorder and bipolarity. But and also my first, not my first YouTube friend, like one of the first like 10 people I met from YouTube, who later turned out to be a sex criminal.
The PayPal debit card is nice to have because of my bank always flagging my card if I leave my area or if I visit family in another state or if I want to purchase something from another country.
So, first of all, thank you so much, friendo. Second of all, yeah, no, I remember when I was like super young because I used to get, like before I had a bank account, I had a PayPal account, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Imagine one day having like a PayPal credit card. So, I'm happy. I'm glad. I hope it works out for you, Shark Boy. Also, nice place to pause the conversation. Yeah, no, I knew a guy who was like, he was so composed and put together, but only when he wanted to be. Like, it reminds you of like, it's like almost sociopathic, right? Like, you can be what you need to be when you need to be it, but otherwise you're like a mess. I knew a guy who was like a super, like either a high-functioning sociopath or he generally was just like changing his mind all the time. He'd be like the biggest sage, even the best advice, and then that could flip like immediately to like, oh yeah, I'm going to get wildly drunk and start, you know, like get it, you know, like crying about the breakdown of I don't know, like something or other, and then that could go into now some crimes are being committed. You should do a 24-hour live stream, says Gabs. I've considered it, but after like a couple of hours, I'm drained. I did the 8-hour live stream once. It might have been 12 in the end, and that took everything out of me as a human being. Like I do want to like at some point have a reason to do a long live stream. But honestly, like okay, there's two downsides. The longer the live stream makes a longer video, and longer, like even a 2-hour live stream is so hard for anyone to want to watch as a video. But a 3-hour video is even harder, and so on and so forth. So once we go past like more than like an hour and a half, 2 hours, it actually like hurts us more than it helps us. Also, because like the number of people who tip seems to go down after like about an hour into a stream, an hour and a half maybe. The number of people who tip goes way down. So like in terms of like actual money making, because I do care about money. I'm sorry to say it. I am a filthy money consumer. I use it to not only pay my rent and groceries, but I also buy takeaway with it. Also, I can't get Streamlabs work today. Susan gets 30%. Oh well, hope your day has been chill. Got my new snake today. My day has been very chill, you could say. I watched that 8-hour video in chunks. It's very entertaining. See, but most people just look at that and go, oh, no. Like, I'm really glad that there are people who will watch it, and there is clearly some number of people, but the vast majority wouldn't. So, most people who don't care about money already have plenty, says Amanda Ree. I think if you get money through a sort... Okay, I feel like if you care about money, you tend to accrue it, and if you don't care about money, you tend to blow it. But if you have enough money through a source that you probably... Either you didn't work for it, or you earned it very quickly, or, you know, there's a lot of ways to get money without directly trading your something else for it, you know? Like if you trade time for money...
If you had to do a charity live stream, what charity or cause would you choose? Serious answers only, no anti-charity.
Oh, Jennifer Jump, you're taking the legs out of this question. You're taking what you know would be my answer, and you're not allowing me to say it. Also, Alan looking at yes, this is my first week of tax. Did you do this pandemic? Did this pandemic change your opinions on anything? It's sad because this pandemic should be changing everyone's opinions on a lot of things. Every single pundit, news site, etc., they have the opinion of, hey, there is a big pandemic facing the world. What is the solution? The things we were proposing before, but now they're more, you know. Like, you know, if you believed in, you know, universal basic income before, you believe in it more now. I think it's more required now, but, like, people haven't changed their minds to be for or against it. If you think that, like, oh, yeah, I think that decreased, you know, regulation, which, you know, like, could get a lot more medical equipment out there, then you'd be like that. If you were xenophobic against Chinese people, you're that now still. Like, people like to think it's changing the hearts and minds of people. But the truth is like, everyone's just suggesting the exact same stuff they had in mind before. Like, oh yeah, let's take down the let's print money. Let's, you know, it's like, oh, guys, Christ, this is a serious issue. You can't just say the same things you said before. Like, dealing with big issues requires more than just reiterating the same things you said before. When there's a new crisis, you need a new solution. This is why using ideas from a long time ago, not the best solution. Hey, you got it to work. Here's Susan's cut of the last one, plus some to get tax. Also, I see you with those puns, says Sarah Burke. Hey, you got it to work. I'm very pleased. I've watched both Never Walks like 3 times, says Alcazar. That's got to be like 24 hours of content you've consumed. You've spent more time with me in the Never than I have. That's pretty cool. Or the opposite. Also, we've covered this now. I guess we should go out this side a little bit, because there's this weird gap here. Yeah, we can do that. Or can we? Print money. Yeah, that's... It's a whole political ideology now, like print money. Like, what if, like, people want public spending, but they know people don't like taxes because you know, in the modern world we have something like 50% of the 40% of the entire GDP is reeled in as tax money. Like, there's only so much more you can tax people. And although there's the big argument about like, so why is like Jeff Bezos not paying his taxes again, or like whatever else? Like, you know, there are more sources of tax that should be gotten, but like, so rather than doing that, they're like, what if instead of getting the money, we just made it up from thin air, and then use that to buy the things that we want? Also, I was watching a different Minecraft YouTuber and he said, "Imagine if you just fish for a whole stream." I laughed. Oh man, am I getting called out now? Ouch. Yeah, no, I will admit I have done some very questionable live streams. Also, Jordan Mikesell, Toy Cat, you're my hero. Well, Jordan Mikesell, you know, thank you, Commander Y, for being the hero. Oh, Jesus, I thought that was taller than it was. Thank you for being the hero that gets the messages out to the people. Or gives the messages out to the people. And second of all, okay, so we've done like a little bit. I kind of like it, and now it makes me feel like I need to do more. Like, now we've seen this, it's like, so should we do this elsewhere? And the answer is, I really want the answer to be no, but it's like, yeah. The level looks so much better covered in ice as a Mandarin. I totally agree, I love this a lot more. I think we should, like, strategically pick where we should cover in ice. Like, maybe that wall up there makes some sense. In fact, that wall up there definitely makes sense. And then we can, like, up there maybe. We'll, like, pick the places strategically one by one. But yeah, does it look good, like, the way it is right now, or do we have to add so much more? Actually, let's go ahead. Let's, like, destroy these blocks, right? Okay, let's climb up. Oh god. Come back to you talking about fishing for an entire stream, says Sammy Baxter. I fish for an entire stream, not once, not twice, but thrice, I think you'll find. Actually, it might have been twice. I just like saying thrice, honestly. It's a word you don't get to use very often, and that's a darn shame. I recently got 2 mending books in 1 hour of fishing, and all I can think about is how long you spent trying to get one. I think that should be a capital offense, what you've just described right there. That, I feel personally insulted. Assaulted. Man, I'm not using the words correctly today. Yeah, I feel very, very personally assaulted by that one. What gives you the right to get so many mending books? No, we actually do have a source of mending books now. It's pretty great. Just got back, is the whole gas thing okay? There was a gas explosion, but before I call the gas people, we're gonna make sure that we finish the live stream, because we got to get your priorities in order, you know. Are the gas people gonna tip you when they're done? Actually, should you tip your plumber? Chat, if you live in America, and do you tip your plumber? Yes or no? No maybes. So next up, we're gonna fly up to there. We're gonna do this wall a little bit, because this is like clearly what needs to be done next. Just like fly up, fly down, easy. And I will start to like cover this wall a little bit, I guess. There is the problem of like, so what should we cover, shouldn't I? No. Maybe these goods. There's a British knight. I knew a plumber once. We were messaging a while back about like a Minecraft Xbox wife. I don't tip my plumber, says Chunky9. And this is why your plumber doesn't like you. Your plumber's gonna spit in your food, you know. I've always found that to be the most hilarious like justification for why you should like why you shouldn't annoy like fast food people. Like, you know, spit tastes like nothing and like isn't really a contagion. But like, I mean, also no one ever does it. Like, you would be fired if you were caught. And since no one's gonna know, why would you even? It's like the dumbest like fear that people make up themselves. It's the same level of dumb to me as people who say like coronavirus is caused by 5G. I've never had to call a plumber. I assume they charge what their services are worth. I have a plumber friend who like just does random plumbing things for me every time he comes. Like he like de-watered my radiators or something. Is that a good thing? I don't know, but he did it. Yeah, I have a plumber friend. He's a fun guy. Other people's spit isn't a contagion. I'm 99.9% sure that I can consume your spit without any problems. You know what, chat? If you meet me in real life, spit in my mouth. Okay, wait. I realize now, 1, I do not want you to do that. But 2, I feel like that's a very concerning quote to have. I just, the tip, my plumber. Wink, wink. Thank you, Patricia Plinter. Appreciate the £1 super chat, friend. Also, yeah, Mono's entered the chat. Oh, yeah, I heard about Mono. It's like the kissing disease or whatever, right? That sounds like the worst to me. But it's not a big thing in Europe, as best I can tell. So, checkmate, friends. But if you're American, don't give me that. That sounds awful. How many hours have you spent on this project? How much longer do you think it'll take to finish? It depends on where we define the finish line, honestly. Like, I would argue we're pretty close to finished right now. But I don't know how tipping works as angry soda cans. You need to learn how tipping works, damn it. You need to learn. Yeah, we got like some ugly gaps we gotta fix around here too. Oh, they were probably melted by the fire. Yeah, let's remove the fire. Cover this in some ice instead. We got plenty of ice, we can do it. How does American tipping work? You tip people when people tell you you're meant to tip someone, and you don't tip people if you haven't heard yet. Unless someone guilts you about it, and then you pretend that you tipped them. That's my experience of American tipping. Everyone's like, so you tipped the guy, right? And I'm like, yes. Of course I gave the money. Of course I gave the person money they didn't ask for. You know, without a I like in Vegas, I tipped a person who took our bags away. And like,
my dad's a plumber and he gets tips all the time. Depending on what needs to be done on the job, what parts are needed, then there is the total for the job, and people usually tip him $50,100.
$50. Like, see, that's the funny thing about tip that I've always found interesting, is that tip is never relative. Like, you know, okay, so like, bear in mind, I think this is a weird exception, because like, so, you know, when people give me money, I call it a tip. I feel like that's the correct parlance. I do pay taxes on my tip, unlike the vast majority of tipped employees out there. But tipping is never like relative to the person. It's relative to the services rendered. Like, if I charged you $1,000 to watch a live stream, would you tip $100 on it? Because, you know, here it's an interesting example. Like, oh yeah, this is free. You're tipping an infinite percentage, no matter how much you do decide to tip me. But like, if you go to a cheap restaurant, you tip the person $3. If you go to an expensive restaurant, you tip more. But it's like, but that's not how tips should be calculated, friend. But, you know, every time I say that, people get confused. Haha, see what I did there, says Gina. I don't see what you did there, Gina. I don't see it, but I do see that you see what you did there. Okay, so real quick chat. Hey, Toycat, I guess I'm up at 1 AM to watch it in the same time zone as Toycat. Go to bed, Toycat. I totally will be going to sleep soon after this is done. Don't you worry, friend. Hey, thank you, Patrick Plinter. Welcome to the Cheap Cat Club. Enjoy your green name and other membership benefits. Do boop. Love the song. Honestly, I'm just here for the sake of that, right? Oh, actually, okay, one thing I wanted to do before we go. So, this is the website. It's the dumbest. I don't know why this exists, but it's make sure there's nothing incriminating on the page. It's conversationstarters.com, and all these conversation starters are really rough. But back when I first started YouTube, all the way back in the day, at one point I was doing a long video and I was like, I'll just use a random topic thing. And so we're just going to go through a bunch of these. And here's some ideas, if you want. Or a bunch of messages.
Given your current boiler
I'm going to go through some of them while we do
you'll
some
all
stuff.
be concerned that you're suffering from carbon monoxide asphyxiation if you stream too long tonight.
Honestly, that's a good point. Yeah, no, I am like moderately worried. My boiler isn't working at all, I don't think, which means I'm probably going to freeze when we have a cold day. It's going to be a whole problem. I think the concept of tipping is weird where it feels like you have to. I think the only reason you have to is because, like, people who do tip, it's not enough for them to feel good because they did it. They have to guilt other people into it. This is something I actually, like, try to avoid in my streams. Like, if you give me money, other people should not be obliged to do the same. There is definitely a thing where, like, when you see other people doing it, you're more likely to, I have to imagine. Like, thank you, Gina C. Like, there is a momentum thing. The way super chats work is if someone hasn't done it for a while, no one will do it. And if everyone sees it's happening every 5 seconds, people throw on. Like, people love super chat trains or whatever. So the only reason people tip is because other people make them feel obliged to do so. No, if like you could if you couldn't say the word tip, if people just could do it on their own free will, but you could never say the words to anyone else, you could never mention it to anyone who wasn't yourself. You could just tip the people you wanted to, and there was no downside or upside for tipping or not. The number of tips would go down like a lot, right? Because without being able to tell people like, hey, so you tip, why do you tip? Oh, this is the dumb thing. I can't believe you'd question this practice where you give people more money than they charge for their services. I don't ever feel good when I tip. I'd rather pay a fixed price and I did the right thing. Yeah, I feel awful every time I tip. Like when I'm in America, I just ask like Americans nearby me like, hey, is this appropriate? Am I ripping them off or are they ripping me off? You know, like if you tip $600 at IHOP, then you are paying too much. If you tip 6 cents at IHOP, then you've ruined someone else's day. It's like, but shouldn't it all be extra? Keep the chain going, says Commander Y. Let's check a point right now. Like maybe it's like towards the end of the stream.
More people need to super chat.
Thank you, Commander Y, for. I know he's doing it a joke because I said like, no one ever super chat, saying more people need super chat, but this guy has proven that wrong. Actually, wait, Commander Y, can I ask you a question? Because you are like MVP tipper recently. I don't know what your personal situation is, but I hope it's good. But I have to ask, like, because you do it via YouTube, not via Streamlabs. How does it make you feel if you added up all your super chats and you found out, let's say it's like £200. So that means that like £60 of that would have gone to YouTube. Does that feel like, well, fair enough, that's their thing, or do you feel like, oh, that sucks that like YouTube gets so much? Like whenever that's a whole thing, I don't know. Just ask for more Vegas alcohol poisoning money. Oh yeah, did I ever tell people about how Vegas went? I had like the like most absurd luck in Vegas. Like I did very well in Vegas. I still have money from Vegas because every time I go to America, I just spend the Vegas money. I've still got money lying over from that. So like everyone who tipped me to get alcohol poisoning in Vegas, I drank a lot of. I spent $40 on a drink at one point, but was it 40? Maybe it was $2.20. But I spent more than you should ever spend on a drink. My first time donating. How are you? So Cat yes, try prints my name. Most people don't get it. It says Israfel. I think it's Israfel, right? Also, Depression Snack. Choo choo. Does a super chat train actually happen or not? So again, I'm not trying to actually like convince you that it is. I like money, so I want in that sense. But I actually am curious. Like, are we going to prove the point that people do it more when there are people doing it, or you know, how does that work? It's like it's an endless curiosity, right? It's an endless curiosity of mine. That is so much for a drink. Jesus, Alcazar. Oh, it was to be fair here, it was like 1.5 liters, or like maybe it was just 1.7 liters. I remember I drank that drink the rest of the night. Like it was a long drink.
If it all went to you, is there a way to do that?
Yeah, the link down below, Mr. Commander Y. That's my understanding. Also, thank you, Mr. The Swung Cabbage. What is a swung cabbage? Are you swinging a cabbage around, or is that cabbage swinging itself? These are the questions I want to know the answer to. How long did this take to build Zipic Spotlight? I got a whole video. Actually, I guess the video is pretty much almost finished now. But, like, I probably won't do the rest of the ceiling. I want to, but also I kind of don't. But money's such a complex thing. How do you think it started? Says Angry Soda Cans. I've actually, it's weird enough that I haven't answered that question, but I made videos explaining it because it's like, oh yeah, we started with exchange and then we needed a media, like the way that money got to where it is right now, where it's this meaningless paper that we all need anyway, is kind of crazy. But, and like, the truth is money isn't done advancing. In our lifetimes, we're going to see money change yet again. Like, in the last 100 years, money went from being this thing that was backed by a physical commodity to meaning nothing, but being backed by governments to potentially either swinging the other way or swinging more towards, like, it means nothing, but we know there's no good alternative. One more tip for the road, says Pygol. Thank you so much, Oh, man, I love that cat. I'm going to picture you in a hat like that cat, being sat, like, on a mat And then I'll say drat. There you go. Money is no. Simple tip guide, 10% equals terrible service. 15% equals okay service. 20% equals good service. See, but then the wackiest thing to me is people tip for drinks. Like, at least food, I can understand the concept of service. Hey, thank you, Commander Y. Hey, you worked it out. Okay, you know what? I always feel mean, like, I always want to be like, hey, here's the real solution. You can do it. But it's a better way. I think in theory, like, again, like, because it's, the reason we have credit cards is because credit card chargebacks are, like, quite a significant form of fraud on a live stream or whatever. But something online money is backed by physical money, which makes me wonder if that will ever change. Yeah, I do think there's a lot of like there's a lot of changes we're gonna see in money within our lifetimes. Hopefully positive changes. One certainly hopes positive changes, and the fact that we're not too sure is that. But before we go, okay, chat, I'm going to give you some random conversation starters. I'm going to click generate a random topic. Would you rather be stuck in a house with someone you hate or stuck in a house alone? Wow, this is relevant to quarantine. Stuck in a house alone. I live by myself for long enough now that I know how to, like, everyone, I really do think, like, no matter how asocial you are, you need some amount of human interaction because we are a social species. And I know how to get the minimum amount I need to survive. Yeah, everyone in chat agrees. Who needs someone they hate? Like, that sounds like the worst thing in the world. The only reason people live with people is because it's cheaper. It's like, honestly, like, I would say, pro tip, get a girlfriend, live with a girlfriend, even if you don't, like it, because you save half on your rent. Like, it's just a simple money technique. Like, you know, like, girlfriends are a great way to, like, reduce costs if you get the right girlfriend. Pro tip with Toy Cat. So, what do you miss most about being a kid? My literally didn't activate the first 2 times I pressed A. So, it's good that it did the 3rd time. Thank you, Colby. Introverts unite. So, thank you, Colby G. See, right there. I wouldn't say it's a super chat train necessarily, but every minute for the past 8 minutes, more than once a minute, every, like, 45 seconds, someone has tipped, right? And that was after a spree of about 7... In the last 10 minutes before that, only 5 people did. So every 2 minutes. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the rates at which people give money goes down towards the end. And also, the rates at which people give money is dependent on other people. So if I was clever, I'd be like a false flag and make a bunch of stuff up. I know, right? My parents always living with a boyfriend, but I'm like, have you heard of rent? Right, like, also, like, it's honestly, to me, living together is like a way to accelerate a relationship. Like, if you can't stand living together for 6 months, you might be able to stay together for 2 years by not living together. But it's the same, you know, you find out the same things but faster because you're living together. So, what's the biggest thing you've ever won? I don't know if I've ever won anything big. A lot of people around me have won big in their lives. Oh, I won, I have premium bonds. It's a UK thing. I won £100, but, this December. But I won £100 on, like, more than 100 times that. So it worked out as, like, 1% interest. No, it worked out as, like, 0.3% effective interest or something like that. Which is good for 1 month. But because it was the only interest I earned in the last, like, 3, it was actually pretty bad. If you could invent a holiday, what would it be? Dumb question. What would motivate you to run a marathon? I'd say money, but honestly, like, someone would just need to give me, like, a big enough prestige reason. Like, doing big tasks is, like, a cool human thing that we do. But you gotta have a reason for the big tasks. Like, honestly, wait, the reason I do these big projects, I love it for myself. But sometimes what motivates me when I'm, like, not into it is like, oh yeah, I'll make a cool YouTube video. I can record the little bits and people might enjoy that. It might encourage them to make their own YouTube videos. And I'm like, okay, I'll get back to this now. Alcazar Day. Orange Square Day. What's that I hear? Orange Square Day? That's right, friends. Those of you who stuck around for the 2 hours of this live stream, you get to hear one last question before we go. There was one that was, do you want to shop online or in a store? It's like, anyone who picks in a store, you are a serial killer, or you're buying too many things that like have to be physically looked at. Would you... Where do you currently live? Where do you currently live is such a bad conversation starter. Never use this, friends. Home alone / home with somebody I hate equals same thing. I missed that joke. Good job. Depression Snack, our hero. What motivates you? I think for the longest time what motivated me was money. Because money is the ability to do whatever you want. The more money you have, the more whatever you want you can do. But something that's fascinated me recently is the concept of the golden handcuffs. Do you think your career as an author will be successful? Technically speaking, I want to tell this story again. Sorry if you've heard this before. I was the #1 like ebook author in the gaming category for the year of like 2013. I think I earned like $10,000 that year or something. I wrote like guides for Minecraft, and then Mojang copyright struck me and took my books off the store. But I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter that Microsoft decided to do that like 3 months into buying Minecraft. I'm not bitter in the slightest. I'm not bitter that my guides that help people play their game got removed because it had the word Minecraft in the title. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm not, yeah, but I was technically a very successful author already. Fun fact. Saw your second channel video yesterday warning you don't go to Indiana. Thank you, Josh Travel. You know, I won't go to Indiana just for you now. No, the next US state I want to go to, it might be for that university college video. It might be, it might just be like Maine. I get Portland and Maine mixed up. I don't know how that even makes sense, but I do. So, what motivates you? Yeah, no, so there's this concept of, like, the golden handcuffs, in my opinion. The, like, I didn't understand it till I heard it, and then when I heard it, I was like, yeah, I get that. Because it sounds so dumb. The idea that the more money you make, the more trapped you are, to some extent. More money is objectively a better thing, but most of the jobs that give you a lot of money don't just give you the money. Because a certain amount of money, whatever it is, determines on what you want, but, like, all the things you want in life can be bought by a certain amount of money, but there are jobs that pay more than that. Let's say that I think I could probably calculate everything I need in a year. Probably like everything I need and everything I want in a year would probably be like, I don't know, 40,000 maybe, maybe a little less actually. Once a house is paid off, I need like a grand a month to live happily, and like, you know, £300-400 to live like okay. Like I don't have like an expensive need in my life. Jessica Forsyth, how many members does your second channel have? I saw you on the list, by the way. Also, you're making third channel memberships. I definitely don't want to make third channel memberships because like the second channel started as a joke and it became serious, and now the third one does. It's a whole thing. So there's this concept of the golden handcuffs where like when you more money, more problems. Exactly. So, Kat, I said I had a career offer, not your, but yours sounds interesting. Oh, wait. Do you think a career as an author would be successful? Oh, yeah, I was. My bad. You're asking if you would have one, not if I would have one. Well, now I'm embarrassingly talking about myself, but that's what YouTubers do, am I right? I'm like being an author is a hard job because you have to like work out clickbait for real life, which doesn't make any sense, but trust me, you do. But you can make it succeed if you're good at what you do, but it's not just being good at what you do. Some people are going to tell it to you like it is just that. It's not. There's a lot more to it. So the idea of the golden handcuffs is that when you like, you know, the most, if I need like 40 grand a year to live very, very happily, comfortably, then how do you convince me to take a job that pays 60 grand if that 60 grand job has more responsibilities? The answer should be you can't, right? Let's say you want to give me a job that's worth 100k, but I'm going to have to put 80 hours of my life in every week. Like being a lawyer, being an investment banker. There are so many jobs out there that have these just like huge time requirements, not suggestions, requirements. Like, sure, the work week is 40 hours, but if you're not coming, you know, have you ever heard the phrase like, if you're not in before your boss and you don't leave after your boss, you're basically fired anyway. There are jobs generally like that. So in those jobs, how do you convince someone to give away their life? And the answer is with more money. But how do you convince someone they need the money to convince them to give away their life? You know, so I've heard being a judge can be, you know, high stress, etc. There's a lot of like high-end jobs that require a lot of that. And the concept is the golden handcuff. So New York is the best example of this because everyone around the world probably know that New York is an expensive city. But New York is also a city with a lot of things you can spend money on. I watched this video from a lawyer. Like, she studied law, and then she worked in New York City for a few years. She was very upfront. She said she earned $175,000 a year, and she felt pretty poor. Like, she had a one-bedroom apartment, which was nice, which cost, like, I don't know, $3,000-4,000 a month in rent. And the first of all, there's the idea that, like, oh, yeah, when you get a better-paying job, you live in a more expensive area, so that's some of it. But then, you know, so like, okay, but if we like, once we discount that, it's like, once you live in an expensive area where there are well-paid people, there are so many things you can spend that money on, and you start to like get caught up in a competition with like your peers of like things that you need. Like eating out every day. You know, me eating a takeaway every day this week has cost me like 10-15 pounds a day. It cost me like 400 pounds a week to eat out every day versus like 100 a month. Sorry, 400 pounds a month to eat out every day. Maybe more if I'm getting more exciting foods. Because like I want sushi every day, I just can't find sushi every day. So the idea of the golden handcuffs is like when you get a better paying job, it's not just more money, the ability to buy more things. You increase your lifestyle, you know, your baseline, so that you don't just get excited by sushi every day. You don't get excited by these things. They are standard. If you're not eating a donut for breakfast that costs $6, if you're not eating $20, let's say $30 sushi for lunch, and a $100 steak dinner, then you're having a bad day, you know? Like, also with a couple of $20 bottles of wine, because, you know, you worked hard today. The creature comforts that you buy just to feel normal are the things you need to watch the hardest, because they don't make you feel good, they make you feel normal, and they scale with how much you earn. So the people who, you know, that woman who was earning, you know, she was working as a lawyer, 80 hours a week or something. She earned ridiculous over $100,000 a year. But one, there were people in her office earning more than her, which reminded her like, oh yeah, there's more to go. And also, after a while, the things just started to feel normal. She couldn't take a job that paid less but gave her more time because she'd have to lose some of those comforts. And again, it sounds like a super dumb first world problem, yeah. But it is exactly what I'm trying to say, that like, yeah, money is objectively better than not money for most people. But the way that you get money, the way that you scale, and the way that jobs want you to get the money is they want you to be tied into it. They want you to need the money. Not to want the money, not to enjoy the money, but to need it. And yeah, that's something you can always think about in your life. That, like, there are lots of sources of money out there. It's not just about pure numbers, which are very important, but it's also about how reliant you are on those numbers. I always think about this, like, when I travel somewhere, it's like, well, you know, if you invest a 10,000 in a car versus if I buy, like, I don't know, 20 500-pound flights. 500 pounds is like on the high end for a flight for me, but let's just say that as a nice comparison. It seems smarter to buy the car at first, until you realize that, like, oh, the car's losing value over time, the car has overcost, like, etc. If you buy something that just feels normal when you're done with it, like eating out, sushi, there's a billion examples. But if you buy something that makes you feel normal, you forget, and with an ongoing cost, it becomes just required. Versus versus most of the people I work with make well over 100K, and they were the first to complain about whether or not we were getting paid. So many people who earn that amount of money are living paycheck to paycheck. They are on the same thing as everyone else. And I'm sure, like, someone in this stream, statistically speaking, based on the income deciles, someone who watches this stream is earning 6 figures in their local currency. And I don't imagine they feel rich. I would be willing to bet they don't. Wait, chat, right now, just, you don't drive. That's why a car would be a really bad investment, Alcazar. You understand why I shouldn't buy a car. But yeah, right now, chat, does anyone feel rich and think that that's objectively correct? Chat, are you rich or not? Yes or no? I am rich, I am not rich. Let's not go poor or whatever, because like poor is infinitely definable too. Also, look at this. This is so weird. Oh. I feel rich, says Josh Connor. How long till the stream ends? Very, very little time. No. Oh, I feel rich, and it's not objectively correct. I have savings, and I still feel very poor, says Pygor. That's the opposite side of things. Like, you should feel poor even when you've got like enough for some people to feel rich, and most people feel rich when they're objectively poor. It's a whole weird thing. I feel rich because caviar was the only available thing my mum could buy because of the quarantine. Oh, Waitrose Essential Caviar. What a pain you must be going through. But that's actually crazy. Also, I'm rich by my parents. I don't have a job, says Tim Westphal. I always find it cool when people can admit that. Like, I've always had like a secret like part of my heart that's like sad that like some people are just rich by their parents and don't even know it. They're just like, that's just life, right? But cool on you for actually being able to admit that, friendo. I'm rich in your friendship. I feel like I'm upper class, says Patrick Flinter. That's cool, upper classness. My student loans are hefty, Lamau. Yeah, I'm glad I don't live in the US for a few. Being like, there's like free costs that are like rapidly inflating. Actually, no, here's a whole video I'd like to make sometime. Like, inflation it used to happen, we measure it like nationwide, economy-wide, but like healthcare is increasing way past inflation. Because like food prices are going so down by comparison to inflation. But healthcare, like education, and the third one, I'm an idiot, housing, are all going up by comparison to inflation. But and those are the three things which affect you when you're young the most. That's why young people are very upset. Side note, that's a whole different thing for another time. Let's just say for now, to end this up, wrap it in a nice little bow. Let's say that thank you for watching. Money seems like it's always objectively a good thing. But remember that when someone gives you money, a lot of it, they usually will give you some caveats with that. And those small caveats, even if it's just tying you to one location, are actually kind of a big deal. Keep that in your mind, and you'll feel good. Thank you for watching. If you feel rich, hit me up. And no, thank you very much for watching this video. This project might be done, but I'm not sure. I'm having oh god, okay, I'm gonna have to waste another firework just to get back up to there. That's okay though. I love wasting fireworks. What I don't love though is you, internet. Get out of here. You disgust me. Leave already. And I'm gonna go deal with my gas leaking situation. Have a nice day, everyone. Goodbye. One sec. I just wanna. That happened. I just want that to be recognized.
Making up for the money that went to YouTube. Lol, not really. Just think you're great, and let's keep the trainer going. Toycat is yes. My bank did not like it, so it took a while.